Okay, so hello everyone. I can't believe I'm actually sitting down to have to film this video kind of again. This is like deja vu, right? Okay, so I think that my mindset is quite obviously different. I can have a laugh about this because now it is actually just ridiculous that it is only laughable. Let's have my serious face on and get this like hair out of my mouth. All right. As you guys know, most of you know, I'm sure that everybody who watches luxury videos has probably seen that video. A year ago, I filmed a video and it was titled, Hermes Made Me Cry. And essentially it spoke about the awful experience that I had associated with Hermes Sydney store and also Hermes Australia corporate, in particular their HR department. Sitting down to film another video, a new saga. Probably I would say. I'd like to hope this is actually the end of it, like that I just don't have to sit down and film these kind of videos again. I hope that it is done because I am just so over the drama that this brand in Australia, like this is a French brand, right? But this is just all to do with Hermes Australia. But we are sitting down and filming today because I have to tell you what's happened. Seriously, I have to tell you what's happened, and it is, like I said, it is just mind-blowing and it is kind of just laughable really now. But let me just start off with a bit of a disclaimer. So the information I am sharing was written to me. I did not sign any non-disclosure agreement. I didn't sign any kind of contract that says that I cannot share this. It is now my property because it was addressed to me and it was addressed to my address, it was addressed to my email, it was addressed to my full name, it was addressed to my mobile number, everything. All my personal information was on this letter that I was issued by Hermes. So according to the fair use policy and according to the fair dealing policy in Australia, I'm sharing this information as commentary and research purposes associated to the fact that I sit down and film these luxury reviews and discussions and blogging on my YouTube channel. So it is all associated with that in accordance with the fair use policy and fair dealing policy. So now that I have gotten that out of the way, I do also have a trigger warning. If you are not into luxury, if you absolutely despise people that buy luxury items, high-priced items that are branded, you are not gonna like this video. This is just me discussing what has happened to me as a result of Hermes Australia at a corporate level. It kind of essentially does tie into Hermes Sydney because the corporate office for Hermes Australia is actually above the Maison store in Sydney. And like I said, if you watched that last video, I had all that drama associated with that Hermes Sydney store and then the corporate office above. So this has kind of happened again, but this is just to do now with like the corporate office because I actually have not shopped at that Sydney store in well and truly over a year now. I actually moved state and there was absolutely, like I stopped, even before I moved state, I stopped shopping at that store. People that already watch my channel, they know that I have started to shop at the store in Queensland, like a couple of the stores here, and it's nothing to do with them. Like they have not done me wrong in any way, and you know, kudos to them because they were nice here. It's actually been very different here. Very different mentality of people, I also feel like. So it's nothing to do with them. I just wanted to say that because I know that people might assume that I'm already just like having issues with the store here, and that's not the case, even though it will affect that, obviously. This is also not a video me telling anyone not to shop at Hermes, to boycott the brand. I'm not saying that. I'm not here to really tell people what to do. That's just not really me, you know. This is just, like I said at the start of the video, this is just me sharing what has happened to me. This is me talking about my personal opinion, my feelings on the matter, and that sort of thing. This is all stuff that should just do with what's happened to me. This is just really, really, really silly. Like seriously, I shouldn't even have to be sitting down to film this video. This is it's just dumb. So most of you already know, obviously, like I said about my last video, I can kind of sort of say like my feelings with that is that even before that happened to me, I already was kind of just over it. Like I already, like, even when I did vlogs, I was just like, my mindset was just like over it. And I really just don't even know why. I don't know why I even continued to shop at that store when I kind of already was just feeling like, nah, this isn't right. This is not the way that you should have to be. Like, this is not the way to experience luxury shopping, seriously. Like, because buying luxury is not a necessity, it's a choice, right? And I just don't know why I really even put myself through that. But I can sort of say that, like, when I did film that last video, because there was just like this build up of like this toxic sort of environment, like this toxic way of really spending your money, essentially, you know, this experience became toxic. I just wasn't my true self. Like it wasn't me. Like, I don't understand. And she's like, oh, don't compare your journey to other people. I'm like, yeah, but I don't understand what's going on. Is it, do they not want is it the store manager? Does he not want to issue me a bag? I don't understand what is going on. Like, I was so defeated. And that's why I think that video did get such a mixed response, because like, I just really wasn't able to convey my true self. It kind of left me vulnerable to so much like criticism, even though I received a lot of support. Like there was definitely far more support than criticism, but I feel like it opened up more criticism because I just wasn't really the best version of myself when I was filming that video. I really wasn't. Yeah, and I shouldn't have allowed myself to be treated like that. So I think you can already notice there's a very different contrast between how I feel like how I am now versus how I was then, because my mindset is different. I think I'll dive into it later, but I didn't care for their quota bags anymore. I didn't care for their Birkin Kelly Constants and all that. I didn't care anymore. Like obviously I had bought my own ones, you know, but I just didn't care that a sales associate was the one that was going to offer me this bag and be like, here, I have this for you. This is a surprise. You're going to love it. And, you know, and all this angst of waiting, I just didn't care anymore. Like,
and there's a waiting list.
I assumed.
5 years.
For a bag?
It's not a bag. It's a Birkin.
After that last experience, I was like, you know what? No. Why did I even put myself through that just to try and get a handbag? Obviously, I was buying products I wanted, yes, but I wanted the handbag too. So it was kind of like, why did I put myself through all that with the mentality of thinking I want the handbag, you know? Like it's just a bag. And I just buy them on my own now. Like I find it a far more enjoyable experience to just go and buy them pre-owned or, you know, brand new from resellers. Like it's just bliss to me. Looking back, I wasn't like the best version of myself, and I really don't know why even when I think back to that phone call that I had from HR. So I got a call from Human Resources. She said to me that the sales associate that I've been dealing with has expressed that she has concerns over her occupational health and safety, and that's why HR is calling me. She said to me, the way that I have had my tone, I need to modify my behavior towards this sales associate. Like, why? It was so inappropriate, mind you. And I had so much of an overwhelming response from people who actually worked in HR, that even worked for like big companies, that were like, I can't believe they actually called you. Like, that's so inappropriate. Like, that is what I had. I had an overwhelming response of that. Obviously, I had a couple little people that were like, no, it's totally normal for the HR department to call a customer and tell them to modify their behavior and that they're a health and safety risk. It's totally normal for them to belittle the customer, like apparently so, right? But I had far more of an overwhelming response from actually people, like I said, that worked in HR or had worked in HR, big companies, retail companies, entertainment companies, that were like, nah, this is not normal. But what I regret to this very day is that I did not pull the HR person up. When they said to me, modify your behavior because you're a health and safety risk, why didn't, to the SA, like I was a health and safety risk apparently to the sales associate for asking for a bag and for bringing up another client, which I said in that video is that the sales associate actually told me it was her client. So originally I was none the wiser until she told me that. But I regret to this very day that I did not say, hey, hang on, you're blaming me for being a health and safety risk, but who is the ones that actually create this environment? Who creates this environment of exclusivity, not having bags available, lack of transparency as how to obtain, how you can actually buy these bags? Who creates this environment? Who creates the environment where the sales associates have to constantly say, no, we don't have any bags in stock? Who creates this environment where they're blatantly lying to you and they do have bags in the back? We know they have bags in the back. Let me refer to Super Jacob on that one.
So they have it in the back, but they're going to lie to you that they don't have one. Why?
Hermes creates this environment. This is the environment that they create for their sales associates to lie blatantly to the customer's face, and the customers to go, I don't know how I go about getting one of these bags, but I want one. How do I get one? And no one tells them clearly how it actually works. Why didn't I turn around and say to the HR, hang on, you create this environment. You're company creates this environment. Why am I to blame for the environment that you create? Of course, customers are asking for a bag and they're asking when they're going to get their bag. They're spending their money. Okay, and they've been told that it's kind of like, you know, a loyalty thing, enjoy the brand, show your love for the brand. And that's what we're doing by spending our money, right? How else are you going to show your loyalty for the brand without really spending money on their items, right? They create this environment. How is the customer a health and safety risk when really, in the nutshell, Hermes is the one that's created this health and safety environment? It is them that's actually created this environment. They've caused the sales associates stress because I'm pretty sure most of us have been raised to not be liars. I regret to this very day that I didn't just throw it back on them. I was, like I said, I was already just so defeated that when I got that call, it was such a shock. But I was already like, just not my true self anymore. And that is such a key sign that that is not a good place to be shopping if it actually makes you feel defeated and frustrated and stressed. That is not the way to be shopping luxury because they're not cheap. Your luxury is not cheap and it's not a necessity. And I realize that now. Looking back, I totally realize that now. But yeah, that's still going to be my regret because to be blamed to be a health and safety risk for causing the sales associate stress when really any logical person can see that this is the environment that Hermes creates and the customer should not be blamed unless the customer is going in with some kind of flamethrower, some kind of weapon, whatever it may be. That's a different story. That is a health and safety risk. If the customer is threatening the sales associate, that's a health and safety risk. None of that I did. Definitely did not do any of that. I was a slightly pushy, a little bit annoying customer, but it was a customer who kind of got to their wits' end, and that's why I was like progressively pushy. Or if anything, I was just overly chatty. So that's really just, I kind of wanted to say that is that, you know, that's pretty much the only regret that I have. I know that there are still going to be people, there's going to be haters. I particularly know that there were some people on Instagram that would love to just blame me for everything that happened and were like, this is the tissue that I have, whatever, and that kind of shit. So petty. There was such bitchy behavior when it came to like that first video. And it, you know, there are always going to be that people that hate on you that are going to be like that. But the thing I have to say is that why should people side with a rich corporation versus having empathy and understanding for humanity? Like, I know that when I use the word humanity, that sounds like a very big deal. Like, that sounds like a big issue, like, you know, human rights and, you know, all these sort of, you know, world issues that we have in terms of humanity. But it still generally boils down to human emotion, human feeling, human dignity, you know, the way people are actually just treated in general. I don't understand how those people that were so like, it's like, had so much hate for me and had so much defense for Hermes, how they could do that, like how they could, you know, hate a person so much or have so much angst and like anger towards a human being who was expressing feeling and emotion, you know, that kind of thing for treatment that really should not have happened. And in turn, defend a corporation and stick up for a very, very rich brand, very rich corporation, billions and billions of dollars. They stick up for them. If they're paying their wages, like if they actually are employed by Hermes, they're getting a salary by Hermes, they're getting free bags from Hermes, I get it. But if you weren't and you were a customer at their store, spending your money, getting bags offered by them, paying for those bags, asking for bags, you're still a paying customer. Like, to me, it seems like you're not getting you're not actually getting anything back from Hermes, you're just getting products. And maybe you're getting a better luxury experience, but I don't feel like that negates actually having more understanding and respect for a human being and their personal feelings and their, like, you know, the frustrations that I was actually sharing. Humanity is more important than a very, very rich corporation. Obviously, that could go deep and that could go either way because there are also other counter arguments to that, like, you know, using leather bags, you know, byproducts of meat and bags aren't necessary, needed to be made of leather and all those kind of things. I totally understand it. I do see two sides of the coin, and I know that I'm making something sound so serious that does have a counter argument, but in a nutshell, very rich corporation making billions and billions of dollars selling products at a high profit margin. A person sharing their feelings, what has happened to them, their emotions, even if you disagree with things that I had done, you still shouldn't actually be tearing down a person and bullying them and belittling them, try to make them feel like they should question themselves and their whole being in defense of a rich corporation. Humanity should come first. I'll tell you like pretty much the basis of this video, because I did want to nut out those other things, you know, things that I kind of regret, you know, my general thoughts to the whole reaction that I had to that video. I wanted to nut that out, and I felt like this video was the most appropriate place because I actually had intended to film a video 1 year on, but I did film it, but then this happened. I actually have something that I need to tell you guys that actually happened to me back in October of 2020, but I never actually spoke about it on my channel. I kind of dismissed it as just like something not serious at all and kind of a joke. But basically, all right, so if you know Connor from YouTube channel The Closet, he uploaded a video where he received a letter from Hermes in 2020, which was like a cease and desist from reselling any of their products.
Hermes head office in Sydney, which was a cease and desist letter telling me that I had breached their terms of sale by reselling one of their items on a Facebook group. Now, someone obviously had screenshot the listing of the Pinkerton bag that I'd sold, which was retail price. I was not selling it to profit.
Essentially, he wanted to help someone else to get their dream bag, like their Pinkerton, because they are actually hard to get. They're very hard to get in Australia. We don't get much stock, if anything, here. He wanted to see if anyone else in the luxury community was after this bag. So he did actually take it, and he does acknowledge that, yeah, probably he shouldn't have took it because he had no intention of keeping it. But when he did list it for sale, he only listed it for the retail price, plus the postage and handling and insurance. That's all he did on top. It was not an actual profitable sale. It was just to net back what he actually had paid for the bag, because he knew that there would be someone that wanted this bag that was struggling to get it at store, struggling to buy it online. And he thought that by taking it, he could actually help someone out in the luxury community in Australia, because there was a very small, like sort of Facebook page with around about 10,000 people in it. So I completely empathize with him. I totally get it, you know? But what you don't know is that I actually received a letter like that as well back in October 2020. And the subject was of this letter that was addressed to me, my name, my address, my email. Subject: gentle reminder on prohibition of reselling activities. So I received the same letter. But you know what it was for? Oh my God, this is so mind-blowing. It was for a lipstick. Like a lipstick. This is not the exact one, but this is the one that I grabbed from my drawer. It was for a lipstick, for reselling a lipstick. Now, let me tell you why I was reselling this lipstick, all right? It cost me $102. I bought a total of 3 lipsticks via remote sale from my then sales associate at Sydney. So I bought it from the boutique remotely, without actually seeing it. And the reason is because we were actually in lockdown in Sydney due to COVID, and no one could shop at the store. So the only way that you could buy products was buying them remotely. So I was actually continuing to shop at the brand during the pandemic when we were all in lockdown and people weren't able to buy at the store. This one was unsuitable. We're just using this for, you know, for demonstration purposes, right? This one was unsuitable. The other 2 were fine, yes, and I kept those, right? Well, the color wasn't for me. I was like, oh, it's not right. I thought it was a little bit lighter. I'm more into neutrals. You cannot return makeup items when you buy them from the store. You can only return them if you buy them from the online website. So if you buy anything from the Hermes boutiques in Australia, you cannot return makeup. You can return other items, just not makeup items, and not nail polish. Beauty items essentially cannot be returned at all. They're completely non-refundable, final sale, all right? With that said, it was a limited edition lipstick. I was like, you know what? Maybe someone wants this because you can't buy it online. The lipsticks were newly released. They were quite hyped up. And I was like, you know what? Rather than actually like just sit on this lipstick and not use it, my mom doesn't want it. She doesn't like hot pinks. You know, she's not into that kind of color. I'll see if anyone else wants it at the retail price I paid, plus the postage. And insurance was already included because it's just $102 Australian item. So I put it on the Facebook group, seeing if anyone wanted it, because it was brand new in box, and I even was gonna print them out a copy of the receipt. And I thought nothing of it. I thought, you know what, what's the big deal in that? So that is exactly why I received a letter, just like my dear friend Connor. And it goes on to say, with respect to the Sydney boutique purchases, we notice you have recently offered for sale on the dedicated Facebook page as new the following products: Hermes Rouge à Lèvres in Rose Nude color, bought by you from our Sydney boutique in September 2020, and they put the exact date. We kindly remind you that upon purchase of these products, you accepted our terms and conditions of sale, whereby you warrant that you are acting as the final consumer and not a dealer, and therefore agreeing not to offer our products for resale as attached. For completeness, we would like to also remind you that our online store terms and conditions of sale also have a similar prohibitions. As such, we request that you immediately withdraw all Hermes products you have advertised for resale and to cease all reselling activities, failing which Hermes reserves the right to take necessary action. We also take this opportunity to inform you of updated our terms and conditions of sale, which are currently effective, see attached. And it says, if you have any questions, write to this following email address. Yours sincerely, the Managing Director of Hermes Australia. Signed. So this is pretty much the same letter that Connor would have got, but his was for something different. And mine was for a $102 lipstick. I just cannot. Seriously. All right. So when I got that letter, I was like, what? Really? I actually took down the listing from the Facebook group. You know, I don't know why. I was so worried, you know, like the brands told me to take it down. Like I must obey what they say. And that's what I did. Like I said, very different mindset back then. And I contacted them and said, like I contacted Hermes and gave them feedback. And I said, hang on, this was a non-returnable item. I bought it at store. I couldn't see the item. I bought it remotely during lockdown, and I bought three lipsticks in total. This one was just unsuitable. I thought that someone else might want it, so that way I didn't lose my money. And then I rung them and said, am I now banned because of this? And they're like, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You know, and I said, I explained to them over the phone after I also wrote that email. I don't know why I was so eager to actually find out what was going to happen to my profile, whatever. She was very friendly about it. And she's like, you're not banned, it's okay. And I was like, okay, so it's no big deal, right? It's just like, it's a non-formal warning. Surely it's a non-formal warning. I've explained that I could not return your item. This letter isn't warranted because of the fact that it's non-returnable. I wasn't able to see it because of lockdown. I've supported your brand during lockdown and continue to buy your products. Surely you're not going to actually keep this letter on file. Surely this is not serious. Surely this is just a very blasé sort of letter and it's going to be chucked in the bin. That's what I kind of thought. And I was wrong. Hermes Australia was very, very serious about not reselling their lipsticks of $102 for what you paid plus the postage. It is forbidden. You must not do that. They were very serious about it and I underestimated their seriousness. I feel like if that's the way that they feel, like if they're really that kind of, people are gonna hate people that really love the brand there. And I was one of those people and I still do. Look, I'll get to that later. I still do love their products. But I feel like people that are so defensive of Hermes are gonna hate that I say this. But I feel like, what kind of brand is that stuck up with a thing up their pole up their backside to really carry on that way about a $102 lipstick that was not returnable, wasn't able to see it, bought during lockdown? What kind of brand sends a warning letter to their customer of, at that point, 5.5 years? Or 5 years? Yeah, 5 years. What kind of brand sends a letter to their regular customer who's supporting them also during the pandemic by buying items still and spending their money? What kind of brand does that? Like, I seriously, I look back and go, God, you're a fool. Why were you even still giving money to Hermes Australia if that was their mindset, if that's how they kind of, behave? Fast forward to this year. So as you know, I have been shopping at the store again, but in a different state. There's a couple of stores here, and I must say, to their credit, they have been fabulous. They did kind of make me feel a bit better about I already boycotted buying from the stores for a good year. I pretty much only bought the items that I really wanted that would be, I bought them pre-loved, I bought them through consignment stores, or I might have got the very rare online purchase where I was lucky to score something against the bots, which I'll get into later. Pretty much for a year didn't really buy all that much from the brand. In contrast to my previous years, I'd pretty much boycott the brand. But then when I came here to a different state, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go to the store. I'm looking for their new nail polish. I've heard some great things about it. I wanna try it. And I received really good service when I went into both the stores. And one of the stores I actually really got along with a couple of the sales associates there. And I think I went in one day with my mini Kelly, and they encouraged me to place a special order for a longer strap because I was using an extender on there. And they were just really cool. But you know what? At the end of the day, they report into corporate. Corporate sets the rules, and they are just puppets to the system, okay? Now, before I get on to the next part, which is obviously, I think you're kind of getting where I'm going with this, I just also want to say that like this year in March, right, I became aware through like some friends who kind of highlighted it to me that there is this whole different world on a particular application. It's called, I can't pronounce it, but I'm gonna put it on the screen. But I have used it before actually for finding out the latest Chanel products, and that's how I've been able to sort of film the videos, like what's coming for Chanel. In English terms, we call it Redbook app because it's just like Redbook. And so it's a Chinese owned app, and I like was made aware that there is this whole different world when it comes to like Hermes on this Redbook app, where there is just like bots that are able to automatically add items to cart to check out and buy items really quickly on the website. And that's why a lot of normal people cannot compete and they cannot buy products on this website because of these bots. But then there's also bots that are also making, not just doing that, buying bags automatically with technology and then reselling them. They've also got this system to be able to like notify people who are paying for it of when bags are in stock. So there's this like paid subscription services. This is a whole new world that I was not aware of. And I was pretty put off by it because I was seeing like, you know, people were abusing technology in order to automatically add all these items to cart, like bang, 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 multiple quantities. And obviously some of them I realize now looking back is that they were just doing it for the subscription services, I think. But then there were obviously a side to that where I'm sure that they were actually also buying items as well on multiple accounts to resell. Because on Redbook, there was also as well people that would immediately buy items that were available online, and they would advertise them for sale once they went into like preparation, like that Hermes was shipping their order, and they put them up for sale for a profit, not for retail price, for a profit. Like I remember seeing a Rose Sakura Pinkerton 18 that was put on the Australian website, and then immediately, like hours later, once their order was in preparation and confirmed, they obviously used a bot program or they were on the subscription service, whatever, and they were immediately reselling that Pinkerton with a screenshot of the order. Pick up Sydney, Pinkerton 18, Rose Sakura, 6XXXX. So they were selling it for over $6,000 Australian, and the retail price is $4,400 Australian. So, and I've seen a lot of that on the Redbook app. Once I was made aware of it, I like started to follow it. I'm like, oh my God, this is not fair. Like, I'm trying to buy some of these bags on the Hermes website and I can't. It's so bloody hard. I try as soon as I'm refreshing at the times that they're typically updating the page, and I just can't add them to cart. It says, oops, not available. Oops, not available. Back previously, it wasn't so hard, but like for the past like year and a half, I struggled so hard to buy anything on the Hermes website in Australia. So I thought that I would send a letter to Hermes and let them know what was happening, because maybe they didn't know, because they seem to know about Facebook. Like obviously I received that letter about the lipstick, my friend Connor received one, and other people actually received one. I know lots of other people that received a letter as well around that time. So obviously they're monitoring Facebook. Do they know about Redbook app as well? Do they know what's going on there? And obviously at the time when I sent this letter, I was kind of back into the brand. I was like, you know what? They've treated me really good here. You know, maybe they're not so bad. Maybe what happened to me in Sydney was just a write-off and I can let it go, forget about it. I've loved the brand for like over 6 years now, you know, give them credit. So I thought that I was doing a nice thing by letting them know. When I sent that letter, I received no response. Totally ghosted me, not even a thank you, nothing. Nothing at all. And now I don't care because of what's happened to me. I don't care what people do anymore. I'm over it. I don't give a crap. So I'm not actually bashing on them, but at the time when I reported it, I kind of thought that I was doing an honorable thing for the brand, because I thought that they only knew about Facebook. So I thought I was doing them a favor, but now I'm just thinking, oh God, I don't owe them anything. Why did I even waste my time doing that research and typing up a letter to let them know? Like, seriously, they didn't even care. But then, a couple months later, I managed to get a garden party in biscuit in the size 30 on the website. And it was by sheer fluke. And the only reason I know why I got it, because when I went back and checked the Redbook app, apparently there was a quantity of 3 of these bags listed online that particular day. And that was the only reason that I managed to, by sheer luck, add one of those to cart, because I happened to just be refreshing the website very early in the morning at about 9 o'clock in the morning when they were typically uploading products. And it became live and I was like, yes, add to cart. And I was able to add it. Time to think, like, you just don't have time because it's so rare to be able to buy any of the bags online. And I told my husband later that night and he's like, oh, didn't you tell me that you wanted to get this Constance 18, this one here, in biscuit, which was being listed in Japan for the retail price. You told me you were going to buy that, like that you were going to get that bag. And I said to him, oh, but I kind of felt a bit guilty because I had already gotten my mini Kelly that same year. Like, I just kind of felt a bit guilty. But then when he said no, he's like, if it's a really good deal and at the retail price, you know, why not? Why don't you just get that? Why are you getting this garden party instead? Do you really want the garden party? I'm like, oh, I kind of always wanted to try one. I prefer the Birkin, but the garden party's a bit plain, but it's a nice color. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have bought that. I should have just went straight for the Constance. But, you know, I was trying to behave. I was trying not to spend $14,000 on a bag versus the garden party, which is $5,400 Australian, $5,460 Australian. So that's why I kind of, you know, when that came up and I wanted that color, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just get this instead. So obviously I've had this like epiphany going, oh, I should have just got the Constance. And then I'm like, all right, well, my garden party's already been shipped to me because they do act very quickly and they ship very, very quickly. I could just return it, right? Which is what I had full intention of doing. I'm like, when it arrives, I'll just return it. But then I was like, oh, hang on a second. If I return this, because it's only one bag, I bet you those other 2 were snapped up by bots and resellers. If I return this, any bet they're going to snag another one. Another bot or reseller is going to probably snag it, all right? So I thought, why not put it up? Kind of like Connor, right? Why not put it up on the Facebook groups? If this is someone's bag that they've been chasing, put it up on the Facebook groups for the price I paid, plus postage, handling, and insurance. And this might really make somebody's day. So maybe it's a bag that they've been chasing and they didn't want to pay premium for it with the reseller, you know, so why not offer it up? And that's exactly what I did. And I even put it on my Instagram. And on my Instagram, I'll put a picture here because I no longer have the Facebook advert. But you'll see on my Instagram, I put garden party 30 biscuit. Anyone want at RRP plus postage and handling, otherwise sending it back. And obviously I wasn't going to tell you that I'd already, you know, decided I'm going to buy that Constance back there. Post is proof that I was really just innocently trying to help someone out. Like, I just didn't want to return a bag that was probably going to get snapped up by bots and resellers. Little did I know that there was somebody who was envious, jealous, whatever it may be. And I know who it was because when I actually put this up on Facebook, the post was only there for about 30 minutes. And I had somebody comment on the post going, admin, is this allowed to sell over retail price? Like, hang on, like, I've only added the postage, handling, and insurance. It is far easier to just return the bag, but I'm offering it here, but I'm not going to sell it for a loss. Why would I sell it for a loss when I could just easily return the bag? But that person obviously took a screenshot of that advert and sent it to Hermes, knowing very well, and she probably was the one who did it to everybody else before, knowing very well that you can't resell Hermes items because they will ban you. They will send you a letter. At the time that I listed it, I kind of knew there was a slight risk involved, but I thought surely no one's going to be an absolute asshole and take a screenshot of it and report it to Hermes because I'm not selling it for a profit, right? And then I kind of noticed that after I did that, like a couple weeks, I think it was like a week later, there was a marble silk twilly online that I wanted to buy and I couldn't buy it. And I was like, what? Is something wrong with my card? And then there was another time where a Calvi Duo popped up and I thought I'll buy it on my husband's account, you know, and he couldn't buy it. So I'm like, what's going on? And I rung Hermes twice. I rung them. I'm like, why can't I buy items? And they're like, oh, it's just out of stock. You know? And then after like a couple more times it happened, I couldn't even, like, I actually tried to enter my credit card information and it said payment declined. And I'm like, there's something wrong with my card. And then I tried another card. Again, same problem, another card. And I had like 3 other cards and I'm like, it's still not working. So I sent this letter to Hermes asking them what's going on, right? And while I was waiting on their response, I was actually doing research, and that Hermes uses this system called Aiden. And this Aiden system is actually able to take your personal information and use it to ban your billing address. They can ban your card info, they can ban your PayPal email, they can ban your name, just even your surname. They actually take your social security number if you ever have to enter it, and they can ban you by that. Basically, they can use a ton of information that you've put on the over on the Hermes website to actually ban you. Essentially, I figured this out, that I was like, you know what, I think I've been banned. I figured this out on my own before I even received a response. But then I actually couldn't even buy in the United States. Like, there was something that came up online, oh, there's a Pinkerton. I kind of got used to the patterns of when they were listing items, so I was starting to have better chances of being able to buy bags once I figured it out, but I couldn't buy anything. And my friends had success buying bags, the same bags that I was trying to buy, because I even told them it's online, but I couldn't buy them. And then I realized I was having the same problem in the United States, is that when I would enter my credit card information or my PayPal, with my PayPal, it would automatically redirect and it wouldn't accept it. So obviously this Aiden system has taken my billing address or my PayPal email and blocked me, my card info and blocked me, my name, blocked me, my surname, blocked me. And I was like, oh my God, I've been blocked. Seriously, why? And I'm like, why? I have only bought, I think at that point I've only bought 2 bags in the whole, like in the past 3 years. And I just thought maybe it's a temporary ban. But then I received a letter. All right, so this time I got a letter in May. And it says title, addressed to my name, my address, my email address. So they have all my information. We obviously know they have all my personal information because they're using it against me. They're even blocking my husband, who has not bought anything online, like maybe only 1 or 2 items in the past 6 years as gifts for me. My husband doesn't wear Hermes. He doesn't care for Hermes. He just knows I love it, right? But they banned my husband. They used his personal information and they blocked him online. But they sent me a letter addressed to my name. Continued breach of our terms and conditions of sale. We refer to an email dated May in previous communications with you. We thank you for your patience while the team investigated your case. It has come to our attention that you recently advertised on social media to resell a garden party bag that you had ordered but not yet received with a high markup. As you are aware, Hermes Australia, hereafter Hermes, is a company of Hermes Group with the right to exclusively distribute Hermes products in Australia. We refer to a letter dated to you October 2020, which notified you of the following: that we have become aware of your reselling activities in relation to your purchases of Hermes products in Australia. Our request that you kindly cease all reselling activities. That reselling of Hermes products is a breach of our terms and conditions of sale as accepted by you upon each purchase agreement between yourself and Hermes. And that Hermes reserves its rights to take necessary legal action in the event you continue to breach your contractual obligations. It appears that despite the foregoing, you continue to resell Hermes products and therefore have continued to breach our terms and conditions of sale. We regret to inform you that due to your continued breach, we will no longer sell any Hermes products to you, both online and within our Hermes boutiques. We continue to reserve our rights. Sincerely, Managing Director. So they are banning me, obviously on the pretense of the pre-existing letter, of the letter that they sent to me in October. That is their whole basis for the ban. Because I have now done something again, tried to resell something again, mind you, not for profit, but they don't care about that. Obviously there's a markup because the luxury groups, you have to include PayPal, which is a 3% fee. So you have to add that on top, right? But I always had 2 prices. I had the bank transfer price and then I had the PayPal price, right? So the PayPal price obviously is the more inflated price. If they had never ever sent me this ridiculous letter for a $102 lipstick that I could not return, that I bought during the pandemic, supporting the brand, bought it blindly, remotely from the boutique to support them. If I had never received a letter for this bloody $102 lipstick, technically that would be my first warning. This garden party would be my first warning. It's an absolute joke. I know that based on some of the sales associates I have actually talked to, that Hermes does not even ban, like in-store, people that buy 10 click H, people that buy 10 pop H. And it's quite obvious that they're going to resell them because these are actually hot items that people buy to build their profile that actually tend to hold their value and they can be resold. Don't ban them. But yet they were more than willing to ban me for a lipstick. It all comes down to the lipstick. Seriously, people are going to go, oh, but it's because you sold the garden party. Tried to sell the garden party. If I never received the letter for this bloody cheap lipstick that I couldn't return, this wouldn't be happening, all right? This wouldn't be happening. They wouldn't have a basis to be able to ban me unless there was a first warning to remind me of the contractual obligations. Very seriously, contractual obligations. They also didn't care that it's quite obvious that I was a loyal, like a genuine customer, because when you look at my profile, I was buying all across the brand. I was buying their silks, I was buying their shoes, I was buying their leather goods, I was buying their ready to wear, I was buying their fine jewelry. Recently I bought a lot of their fine jewelry. I spent a lot, seriously. So if they actually had even taken the time to look at my profile, they would realize that I was actually just a genuine loyal customer. And it just blows my mind that they did not even take that into consideration. I start to think, is it personal? Is this just an attack from Hermes Australia now because of that video that I did? Is it now personal? Because seriously, that's the way it's starting to look. I know of a few people that have been banned in the US. Even someone I know that was banned for reselling items that they didn't even buy from the store. They actually bought them pre-loved and they listed them on Facebook, on one of the Facebook luxury groups in the US, and someone reported her. Like, it's just, seriously, I just feel like the whole system that Hermes creates is pretty much what induces this whole toxicity amongst women, most likely. I'm sure that there are like some men that, you know, I know that there are men that shop at Hermes, but I'm absolutely certain that the majority of the demographic that shops at Hermes is women, because handbags are more geared towards women. But it's this system that Hermes has that essentially encourages this toxicity. It's that lack of transparency that makes customers compete with each other. It sparks jealousy, and people feel the need to report each other because they're jealous that other people have gotten offers. They're jealous of the success that people have had at the store with getting, you know, particular, like the Birkin Kelly Constance bags, all that sort of stuff. Like the whole scarcity, elusivity, lack of, you know, like the whole supply and demand thing. And them always saying to customers, no, we don't have any bags. Like, I feel like that is pretty much what encourages this whole toxic behavior amongst women, unfortunately. And that is led to why I was, you know, reported. That's been why other people I know have been reported for selling pre-loved items not for profit on the Facebook groups. You know, and even someone recently, a Australian blogger, she uploaded a video where she actually said someone had reported her for filming in the store and how she scored her mini Kelly, and they reported to the store manager. That apparently her and the store manager were laughing about it, and she just said to her, just don't upload it on your Instagram anymore, you know. That's in Sydney. That's actually in Sydney. So it's quite obvious she hasn't been blacklisted or even given a warning. And she has even said publicly on, please don't think I'm trying to call anyone out. This is not the case, but I'm only sharing an example of someone else who's also shared information publicly that they have said that they have rehomed items, they've sold items, and she's been subject to the same thing where people try to report her to get her banned. So that's why I'm using that as an example, because she's actually publicly spoken about it, and she's also in Australia. People have the right to do whatever they want to do with their items. They want to sell it. If it doesn't work out for them, whatever. I feel like that's their own business. Like, seriously, I don't care. Honestly, I even kind of regret even telling Hermes about that Red Book app, because now I think they didn't deserve me going out of my way to report it. I just think, you know, they are so childish. Like, this brand is so rich. Why? Like, go after a loyal customer? Quite obviously, quite apparent that I'm just like, I didn't really care for getting their quota bags. I started buying them myself without waiting. But now I'm just at this point where I'm like, why did I even give you any more money? Why did I even buy these items from you when I could have just bought them pre-loved? I could have just bought the fine jewelry pre-loved for 50% off the price for people that are buying it just to score a bag. I could have bought them from Europe where it's cheaper. Like, why did I even give you any more money? Seriously, I should have bought my twillies pre-loved, because there's a buttload of them on Vestiaire Collective, brand new. There's a lot of items that I bought giving money to Hermes Australia in the past, you know, 6 or so months. Maybe more than that, because I did buy some, like I said, even though I kind of boycott the brand for a year, I was still kind of buying little bits and pieces, given sales to Hermes Australia where they didn't deserve it. Like, they didn't, even though the store is great. So I kind of have a bit of empathy to them, because I kind of feel like I'm saying that and I kind of feel like I'm taking a dig at the store too, but I'm not. But overall, we know that the bucket of money goes to Hermes Australia. So and it goes to their sales target. So I kind of feel like, why did I even give them more? Like, I feel like, oh, why? I'm such a fool. But then I really didn't think that they were that petty. Like, seriously, this is a whole nother level of pettiness. So the other thing I wanted to say is that I don't have any issues with Chanel. Like, seriously, Chanel has been great. I have no problems with it being able to get even the hot bags. And they just treat me really well. I've never received any kind of warning letter from Chanel. I am not a reseller of Chanel. If there has been something that I bought from Chanel that didn't work out to me, yes, I have rehomed it, but there has never been an intention to buy to resell. Even though that garden party was not ever an intention to buy to resell as well, it was just that I know that these bags are so hard to get that I just thought I was trying to, it was innocently trying to help someone out. But like going back to Chanel is that, yes, I have actually rehomed bags months after I bought them, months and months, and they can't be returned anymore. And I haven't used it. And I'm going, you know what? I have not used this bag since I bought it. And I know that some people have bad things to say about Chanel and stuff like that, but I think that that's a different thing. Like I'm just kind of comparing Australia, you know, here, like Hermes Australia, Chanel Australia. I feel like Chanel Australia has not been cruel to their customers in my experience, or at least not to me. They haven't been cruel to me in any way. Even if I've sold an empty shoebox. And I just feel like that just is more of a testament to like comparing this Hermes elitist mentality that they have here versus the mentality that Chanel has. Is that I know that they've started to behave a little bit more like Hermes in regards to how they give bags, but you can't compare apples and oranges. They literally oranges, apples. As on the other hand, I feel like they've already, back a while ago, they already decided they didn't want to sell me any more bags, even before this letter for the garden party. And it would be then the only basis that they decided they didn't want to sell me any more bags is because they have that elitist mentality where you've sold one of our products before. Shame on you, we don't want you as a customer. The other thing I want to say is that, like, why can't Hermes just have these limits in place? Like, they have, like I said, the limit 3 bags per season, right? Chanel has now this new limit with 2 classic flaps per year. Can't buy anything from Chanel remotely within the first week of its launch. So they created all these extra controls to help mitigate people abusing the system to buy hot products just to resell them for a profit. So Chanel has kind of done that proactively. Rather than send letters to people and ban them online, oh, well, Chanel doesn't have an online system, but rather than send letters to people banning them from buying and all that sort of thing, they've just created these other measures to help mitigate resellers from being able to abuse their system. Obviously, they're still going to be there abusing it, but it just makes it a little bit harder for them and they probably won't be able to do it as much anymore, or it might even completely put them off altogether. But then, whereas Hermes has these limits as well, like 3 bags per season and 2 quota bags per year, but yet they still go ahead and ban people. If you've stuck around to hear this, but if you haven't, this is going to be very awkward. So I'm probably going to need the regular viewers and the ones that really enjoy my content. I'm probably going to need your back on this one because I'm sure that there are people that have just turned off this video and they're not going to hear this part. But let me just say this. I am not going to boycott Hermes, all right? I tried that before and it didn't work. I cannot take out this part in my brain that really appreciates their leather goods, their bags, and their silks. Luckily, I've never really been into the 90 by 90 silks. I've mostly only been into the twillies, right? But I can't turn that part off in my head. I cannot unappreciate these handbags. I cannot. And I just can't, because they are a beautiful design. The artisans are amazing. They make the bags that they create, like, it just feels like no other, you know, and the designs, I really like their designs. I think they're just me, you know, and I have other Hermes bags that are not Birkin Kelly Constants that I really love. All right, so I cannot boycott the brand in that regards. I'm not going to be selling all my bags and I'm not going to stop buying their bags. But what I will do is that I absolutely will be boycotting Hermes Australia. I'm not going to buy anything from Hermes Australia. As a matter of fact, is that I have contacts in Europe that actually buy items just to build up their profile, and then they resell them, and that helps them to get their bags. So I know I can get access to buying the bags without, you know, worrying about all this crap that happens in the stores. I know that I can buy the items that I'm after, like maybe some of the shoes. I really like the Hermes Orans and the Chypre. Like, I can buy them under the retail price. Just, it's ironic given the context of this video that this is all happening underneath Hermes' nose, but yet they go and ban me, who's actually a genuine customer. Like, there's a lot of irony in that. But, you know, like I said, I don't care what people do. So if it means that I get to buy stuff well and truly under the retail price, and I want it, then I will do it. Like, that's my decision. I cannot pigeonhole myself to stop buying their leather goods in potentially shoes and twillies. Anyone who's like a regular viewer who appreciates my content, I'm probably going to need you back on that if people are going, you know, like she said, like she's not going to buy from Hermes like after this video, but they probably missed that part of me explaining that I'm not going to pigeonhole myself. I won't be unboxing Hermes on my channel anymore. I completely will stop. I feel like I need to clarify this correctly. I'm not saying that I won't reveal any more Hermes bags on my channel. What I'm saying is that I'm not going to do dedicated Hermes unboxings on my channel. So before, if I got a bag, I would do a dedicated video to it. I'm not going to do that anymore because I feel like that is participating in the hype for the brand, because there's obviously quite a hype for Hermes at the moment. I don't feel like the brand deserves me participating in that. So the way that I will go about, you know, letting you know that I've gotten a new Hermes bag will be in a case of like first impressions, reviews, or I might slip it in when I do like my collective hauls, that sort of thing. So you might still see Hermes in the title of like, you know, a haul video, but it's not going to be like, oh my God, I got a dream bag, or unboxing my mini Kelly. Like, I'm just not going to be doing that. I don't know if it's going to be a permanent thing. I think for at least the time being, it's going to be something that I won't be doing because of all the hype that the brand gets. Look, I was buying Hermes since 2015, and then I started at the store in 2016. And back then, like, there was hardly any like Hermes unboxings. Seriously, most of the influencers on YouTube and Instagram were mostly like, I mean, actually not on Instagram, because on Instagram there's been a whole different world of like Hermes unboxings, like the very rich, right? But like influencers and stuff, like the influencers who are really, you know, got lots of subscribers on YouTube, a lot of them were not revealing Hermes back in 2015 and 2016. They were doing Balenciaga and Dior and Chloe and Bulgari and that kind of thing. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be contributing to the hype. I feel like crap. I hope that I haven't been one of those people that someone's just rolled their eyes at and gone, oh my God, another Hermes unboxing. I hope I haven't been one of those people. What I think is actually more damaging to the brand, that the brand should potentially wake up to, is the whole influencer marketing, because that's now the road that Hermes has gone down. They've quite obviously gone down that influencer marketing route, where they're now issuing bags to influencers quite easily. So obviously they're still paying for them. They're not doing like Dior where they're gifting bags, but they're just issuing it without making them jump through any hoops. Whereas the common customer in most parts of the world, mind you, I know that there are some parts like FSH, the Paris store, where people don't have to jump through hoops. But what Hermes is doing is now using influencer marketing to give bag, like just easily issue bags to influencers without making them spend all this money or anything like that. So I feel like that is probably the cruelest thing that they've sort of been doing to customers now. Before I do go, I know that I'm going to get this question, and people are probably going to ask me, have I ever actually made a complaint to France about what's happening? And yeah, I have actually, and it's been radio silence. I actually contacted them and asked them if they would consider overturning the decision. I said that the lipstick warning was very, very unfair, and I've already hounded on about that, why it's bloody laughable and ridiculous. Seriously. I told them I'd been a customer of more than 6 years. I was fearful of returning it because of all these bots that were able to buy from the Hermes Australia website and advertise them on the Redbook app. I pretty much explained to them that this is a ridiculous ban. If you take all of this into context, this isn't fair. Like, it's not right. You shouldn't be, you know, this doesn't seem right. Can you please consider overturning the decision? But nothing. Completely radio silence. Seriously, complete radio silence. You know, 6 years, being so loyal to the brand, all I've ever gotten out of them was 2 quota bags, a Birkin and 2 Birkins. That's what I got in 6 years. And to some that might be like, well, you should be grateful. Of course, you know, yeah, like I'm glad that I'm able to buy those items. I do have an expendable income. I don't have a mortgage. I've paid off my mortgage, right? So I have expendable income. That's why I can buy these bags. But in contrast, when you compare me to, say, influencers, for example, they get like more than 3 bags a year sometimes. And I've only gotten 2 in 6 years, yet I'm the client that they want to ban who's actually buying all their other items as well. That's where I stand. This very long-winded video that it's unfortunate that I've had to film, but I won't be unboxing any more Hermes on my channel. But I will still be doing reviews, because I think that that's helpful for people, because I actually do want to encourage people to still consider pre-owned. If people want to defend Hermes over banning me for a lipstick that I couldn't return, and yeah, that says more about them. Seriously, it says more about them. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, that is it for this video. I'm tired, I'm hungry, I've said too much, and I hope I don't get sued. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video if you decide to come back. Bye.